Hi, it's Mike from Booster A Levels. I'm here in St James's Park in central London. Gorgeous day now. It hasn't been all day. It's been pouring down most of the day. I want to talk to you a little bit today about aggregate demand and aggregate supply. You know that I've covered a session on aggregate demand in one of my previous YouTube videos. I'm also going to talk to you about aggregate supply. Brilliant that when you're in central London, so many tourists obviously contributing to an amazing economy. Doesn't always make it easy when you're doing some of these videos out and about, but that's what Boost is going to do. We're just going to get out there this year and we're just going to see economics in action as much as possible, even if you get interrupted by all sorts of things. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, aggregate supply and supply side shocks. We've had a lot of them in recent years, but we have had many of them over the years as well. Obviously, in the last couple of years, we've had big energy supply side shocks. That's mainly caused by the international tension between those countries around the world that can't quite get themselves in a position to be able to solve some of those issues. Bring in politics to your economics, of course. Don't get overly political, but of course it is obviously a factor that we need to take into account. And examiners are quite keen to hear that your political understanding can be weaved into one of your answers. But make sure you're always looking at the economic implications of it. But if we just take, for example, the energy crisis, it's hit really all of those key aggregate supply elements. So when we're talking supply, we go back to theme 1 in your year 12, labour, land, capital and enterprise. And the problem is when these supply side shocks hit, they hit all of those. You know, they have an impact on labour, they have an impact on capital, they have an impact on enterprise, and have an impact on land. Wars are fought on land. People are affected by war. People are affected by the energy crisis, having to pay much more than they really would like to. It really has just such a big impact. And when you're looking at what sort of criteria you might look at for those supply side shocks, go back to your macroeconomic objectives. How do they impact on inflation? Badly recently. How do they impact on unemployment? For some, badly. How do they impact on growth? Really badly. How do they impact on living standards? Really badly. How do they impact on government debt? Really badly. How do they impact on the environment? Well, that's maybe one that we can't answer that easily. But the point is these supply side shocks through land, labour, capital and enterprise can be examined by examiners, and obviously you can pick which one you want, pick which specific supply side shock that maybe you've got, and that will give you an opportunity to see how different macroeconomic objectives are hit by supply side shocks. So that's a little bit on supply side shocks. Thanks so much indeed. It's Mike from Booster A Levels.